opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers, and we are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of our sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Good Tuesday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers.
Tonight, sponsored by Southern Gem Photo Booth in Stark. Not only do we bring fun to your event, we make it picture perfect. I'm the historian and patriot, Byron Bagwell.
And I'm the local voice, Mitchell Gunter. This is your show coming to you on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday and Saturday night.
You control and run the show. We are just a rudder that steers this big old vessel, sometimes right into a reef, but that's all right.
We bring it to you first from education, discussion, and debate of local news, politics, and sports, as well as the latest on the COVID-19 situation.
We have you covered from Middleburg to Melrose, McIntosh, from Lake City to Lake Butler to Lake Como, from Waldo to Williston, from Lottie to Lulu, and all points in between, including Gainesville, Palatka, Ocala, and of course, right here in beautiful Stark.
Now here is your on-the-spot team making it happen every single week. First, putting it all together behind the scenes, our executive producer, Super Dave Holland.
And keeping the flow to the show, our director, Michael, the Little Dragon Slayer Heater.
Rounding out the team is Austin Storm Chaser Stevens and John Better Than Snopes Probst.
And our great media partners at Eagle Country 106.3 FM and the Bradford County Telegraph.
And now, here is the voice of the Bradford High School Tornadoes and the Show Pony,
Mr. David Rodgers.
All right. Good job, guys. All right. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
I went for a ride and didn't go nowhere.
Yeah, I guess so. You look younger, David Rodgers, by the way. We're coming to you live from the On the Spot Studios.
No,
That's the white out. We're coming to you live from the On the Spot Studios right here along historic Hall Street in beautiful downtown Stark, Florida. Only 1,724 miles from Buttsville, North Dakota, where I do know for a fact that Mitchell's people live there.
Buttsville.
Oh, wow. No.
We are going to end up getting
My
so much
family's
trouble.
from Guntersville,
Alabama. Okay.
Better yet, you know who? Roger Cruz's people.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If he's got relatives in Guntersville, okay, when we get to Bass Boat, we need to stay with his relatives because that lake is incredibly good to fish.
Yes, it is. So let's get started, as we always do, with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the week. Let us bow our heads. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us be together here, the On the Spot team with David Rodgers, as we bring the information to all our viewers. Let all our viewers enjoy and take what we say, dear Lord. Take it to their heart. Let them do as they wish, as they need to do with it. Thank you again for this beautiful week you're going to give us, this beautiful weekend. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day, that it goes into the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America, the freest land in the world today, and the most powerful. Thank you, dear Lord, for letting us live here. Thank you for the armed forces that protect this great nation, dear Lord. Keep a hedge of protection over them as they are going out there fighting for our rights and our freedoms, keeping us safe from international and domestic terrorism, dear Lord. Thank you again for all those men and women that are serving and have served. Thank you for, again, allowing us just to wake up another day in this beautiful country. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, that you touch each and every one of those. You know their needs, their wants. Just help them, please, fulfill those needs. We ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, and the congregation says, Amen. All right. I'm going to ask Mr. Byron Bagwell if he'll lead us tonight in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Every day, twice a day on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
That's exactly right. Again, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Rodgers. Mr. Bagwell, do you have anything for us tonight as far as a patriotic quote?
Well, you know, I was really thinking about using the Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote that you guys used last week.
Yep.
But I think I changed my mind about this. I've
Okay.
got another quote that I wanted to give everybody, and those of you that are my Facebook friends, this may sound familiar. It may not. I don't use it that often. But we, the people, are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert the Constitution.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too.
Any guesses?
60th President of the United States, Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
That would be absolutely correct. Abraham Lincoln said that. Now, keep that one in mind, because
Okay.
I'm going to talk about something that's a hot button issue nationally tonight.
Okay.
And I want people to really think about what Abraham Lincoln's quote was when he said that and what it means. Because we've got some shenanigans going on, and we're going
Absolutely.
to have a lot more shenanigans going on here next week.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So, again, welcome into the show, and let's go ahead and get rolling. But before we delve into today's latest, Mitchell, we want to recognize our great sponsors
That's right.
who make our program a success. Mitchell, if it wasn't for them, we couldn't even have this show.
That's correct.
This is our sponsor spotlight. Fun Point Food and Arcade, Southern Gem Photography, Miracle Automotive and Recovery, and Brittany Leanne Creations.
On the spot lawn maintenance.
Yes.
Schuster and Saban Law Offices, Dependable Waste Services, Williams Jewelry on Call Street.
How about Harry Business of Stark, Boogie Night DJ Service, Designs by Probes, and the Downtown Grill.
And now, here is the 360. We take you around the community and around the country in 6 minutes. It's 360 degrees in 360 seconds. Tonight brought to you by Fun Point Food and Arcade in Stark. Check out the all-new menu on Facebook or www.funpointstark.com. Bradford County detectives continue their investigation after a home on Southeast 21st Avenue was hit by gunfire early this morning. 4 bullets were reportedly fired in a home south of Stark, and at least 2 windows were shattered. Thank goodness there were no injuries.
Amen.
Anybody with any information regarding this investigation is asked to contact Bradford County deputies at this number, 904-966-6161, and you can remain anonymous. A pilot died when a single-engine home-built plane crashed yesterday afternoon in a wooded area in Nassau County near the Florida-Georgia border. There was no one else on board, and no other injuries were reported. The plane went down around 2:30 p.m. in the woods off Trinity Lane near County Road 121 north of Hilliard. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating as we speak. A man remains in critical condition after he was burned in a fire in Putnam County. Firefighters on Engine 61 responded to a shed fire on Putnam County Boulevard early Monday morning and found a man in his 40s inside. The victim had burns to 100% of his body. The man was taken to an area hospital, and officials do not know how the fire started or why the man was even in the shed. The investigation is ongoing by the State Fire Marshal's Office. Michael, just real quick, you're stationed on Engine 61, is that not correct?
Yes, the Engine 61 was my engine when I worked for Putnam County. This particular fire located just a moment or two away from where the fire station is coming down Putnam County Boulevard. And a quick response by the volunteer firefighters staffing that station is what saved that gentleman.
Wow, excellent. The Florida Highway Patrol is investigating 2 fatal pedestrian crashes that occurred within 24 hours of each in Marion County. The first happened around 6:15 a.m. yesterday morning in Bellevue near Southeast 112th Street Road, southwest of Southeast 50th Avenue Road, when a female was fatally struck and the suspect's vehicle fled the scene. A gray 2018 to 2020 Dodge Durango SRT was last seen traveling west on Southeast 112th Street Road and likely has front end damage due to this collision. In a second crash last night, troopers say a man from Ocala was driving a van on County Road 42 near Southeast 182nd Avenue Road when the van hit a pedestrian. Anyone with any information on either crash, please call FHP Corporal James Lander at 352-512-6641. In Columbia County, a Lake City man, Benjamin Ratliff, has been sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for distributing methamphetamines. Ratliff pled guilty in June after being arrested for hiding the drugs along highways by stop signs in shoes and diapers. How about that, huh? Nearly 500 grams of meth were confiscated as part of the investigation jointly conducted by Lake City Police, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. Also in Columbia County, Lake City Police and firefighters rushed to the Lake City Mall on Sunday when someone reported a suspicious bomb-like object that was found. The entire mall was immediately evacuated. Upon closer inspection, the bomb was actually a sub-sandwich wrapped in wires and deemed no hazard. The evacuation order was quickly lifted, and there were no injuries. No suspects have been identified, in case you were wondering, in the state of Florida, placing a hoax bomb in public view, and it is a second-degree felony. In state news, an Orlando school teacher was arrested today and accused of manslaughter in the death of a 20-month-old child in her care. Doug Kendra Wallace is accused of driving to the school she teaches at in Orlando on September the 11th and forgot the child in the back seat. You always talk about this, Mitchell. The child was found dead that afternoon after school. Wallace had been taking the child to and from a daycare provider for the child's mother as a favor. The charges included aggravated manslaughter and child neglect. There have been 22 child heat stroke deaths in the United States in 2020, 3 of which occurred in the state of Florida. Since 1998, over 100 child heat stroke deaths have occurred in Florida, more than any other state except Texas. Finally, an imposter is calling Flagler County residents pretending to be with Florida Power and Light Billing Department. The imposter tells the victim that their bill is past due and that they will be disconnecting their service unless they pay immediately. The scammer instructs the victim to pay over the phone with a prepaid debit card, gift card, a third-party payment portal, or by following a link in an email. However, FLP will never ask for a payment with a prepaid debit card or a gift card. Answer an email or go to a third-party website to pay an invoice. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley says if you receive a call like this or from anyone requesting immediate payments or personal information over the phone, to hang up and call the business yourself. This is not just limited to Flagler, but any FPL customer. Here now is your weather update, sponsored by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find AWS on Facebook for the latest information.
It's going to rain. Oh, sorry.
Hey. Welcome in.
Oh, you're not Michael Heater. I'm sorry.
Welcome in, Austin Storm Chaser Stevens. By the way, how do you like Crow? Don't answer that. Give us the weather report.
They're annoying. That's all.
Oh, okay.
They're annoying because there was several of them on the power line earlier today when I had the windows open. Because if you were living under a rock, this weather is gorgeous. I could ask for this all year round. The weather will continue to be gorgeous through tomorrow. We do have a minor heat wave due to beta going towards our north, which will bring 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms for Saturday and Sunday. But I got some other good news. Heat wave will end by cool temperatures of upper 50s next week by Wednesday.
Yay!
Wow, all right.
I love that news.
Me too. Thank you once again, Austin. This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service of Keystone Heights. Find AWS on Facebook and get a local forecast, Mitchell, sent right to you.
That's right. One thing I wanted to speak on was a little story that you talked about the drugs being dropped off in diapers and stuff on the side of the road at these signs. That may also be a way to get drugs inside of our prison systems because we have inmates work those roads and cleaning debris and stuff up. And that is a good way to get contraband into prisons or jails.
Yeah, I can see that. And I'll tell you another thing, too, with that same thing, just to elaborate a little bit more, it could be drop-off points for these guys.
That's very
You know what I mean? Where nobody can be seen, stop at a stop sign, pick up something really quick, nobody really thinks of anything of it, move on and go. You got your drugs, and I'm assuming he's got his money, I hope.
Not smart.
Not at all. Here now is the Dragon Slayer with the latest wildfire update.
Hey, thanks, David. As of this morning, 75 large fires have burned more than 3.7 million acres in 11 states across the western United States. More than 30,000 wildland firefighters and support personnel are assigned to wildfires across the country. Evacuation orders remain in place for residents near 23 large fires in the West. Nearly 500 soldiers and Marines have been deployed to assist firefighters in battling two of the larger fires in California. With additional support coming in around the country, they are also arriving to relieve the exhausted fire crews. Among them is Florida Fire Service and Bradford County firefighter Lonnie Olive, who arrived in California just a few hours ago.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Thank you. Yes.
Firefighting personnel from Canada are supporting the suppression efforts in Northern California and Oregon, including 18 fire engines and 70 firefighters. Another team from Mexico and more from Israel are on the ground as well. Currently, 11 states are battling major wildfires, with Arizona, Colorado, and Idaho seeing the bulk of them. In fact, 14 fires burning in Idaho. In addition, Montana, Utah, and Washington State are seeing them. Oregon is coming in closely with 13 wildfires burning. And even Wyoming and Washington are dealing with multiple fires as well. Now, weather-wise, there's no real relief in sight for California, but a trough moving through the Pacific Northwest may bring some showers across the western Washington state and across the northern Rockies. We will have to see how that plays out. And, of course, Austin will have the latest on that as well. Back to you, David.
Man, that is great news, Michael.
I want to mention something. I've got a cousin. His name is Kyle Mosley, and he's out there battling firefighters. The fires. It's called the Bobcat fire that's going on, and he's fighting it from a helicopter. He's a helicopter pilot. And so he's out there dumping.
Mr. Mosley, thank you for your service, and thank you for going out there and helping these guys out.
Absolutely.
And now, here's our newest segment that brings back a little history. This is What's the Date? Again, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. All right. These are the Bradford Telegraph headlines from the last week of September. In what year? Crackdown ordered on pool rooms and sale of shine. Lottie will new mine give it a boost. And BHS opens the season with St. Leo Friday. Was it September 1953? September of 1956 or September of 1959? Oh, I love that. Crackdown ordered on pool. You trying to get me, wasn't you, Michael Heater? Crackdown ordered on pool rooms and sale of shine. Lottie will new mine, give it a boost. BHS open season with St. Leo Friday. Was it September of 1953, September of 1956, or September of 1959? Yeah, I knew you were trying to get me. All right, hey. Michael, why don't you step in and give us a little bit of each of these storylines, what we can expect out of these.
Absolutely. So, on our first headline, Stark Mayor J.R. Wainwright met with City Police Chief W.E. Thornton and Sheriff Percy Reddish and told officials, quote, "We are going to crack down on reported gambling and moonshine whiskey in the city of Stark." Meanwhile, the newly created DuPont Company officials and Lottie residents met to discuss the impact of the multi-million-dollar mining operation that was under construction and what it would mean to the town of 500 people living in Lottie. And the Tornadoes opened their football season this particular year in Stark, the game against the St. Leo Lions coming up from Dade City. The game was played in the original Bradford Park.
Interesting. Crackdown ordered on pool rooms and sale of shine. Lottie will new mind give it a boost. BHS open season with St. Leo from Dade there, Byron. Friday night. What is it, September of 1953, September of 1956, or September of 1959? You, the viewing audience, now will have a chance to try to guess that and see if we can get some guys back up on the winning track. We only had 2 winners last week, right? Out of what we gave last week. So I'm going to start with Byron, and then we'll go around the table. What year do you think that was, Byron?
I'm going to say 56.
Byron goes with 56. Austin?
I'll go with Byron, 56.
56. Donald?
56.
56. David?
That's what year I was born.
You going with 56?
I might as well.
All right. Michael?
Nope.
Mitchell?
He knows the answer.
I'm going to go with 56.
You can go with 56.
Ooh.
You know what? It's a clean sweep. I'm going 56 too.
And I'm going 56 on Thursday's temperature at night.
Are you? All right. Well, you can give us an update on that here in just a minute. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the show On the Spot with David Rodgers. My name is Mr. Friday Night David Rodgers, voice of the Bradford Tornadoes. To my left, been missing for the last couple of shows, is our historian, our governmental whiz, the patriot himself, Mr. Byron Bagwell.
I'm glad to be back,
Oh, I
everybody.
know it.
Hello, everybody.
There you go. To my left over here beside Byron, you just heard him give the weather report. It's none other than the Bionic Man himself, Austin Storm Chaser Stevens.
Good evening, infidels.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, hang on just a
Yeah,
minute.
it's still my thing.
Donald, hang on a minute. This will be the last weather report Austin gives on this show ever. I make a note to myself.
Hey, he stole my thunder when he said it was going to rain Saturday and Sunday.
Well, he was just taking a guess.
You got a point.
He does have a point. All right,
He does.
to my
I'm
right.
so used to hearing Michael Heater saying it's going to rain that I figured that I'd
To my right, producing the show, the owner of Harry Business himself, Super Dave Holland. Say hello, Dave.
Hello,
Dave. Yeah, he's the invisible man right now. And over here,
Good button.
yeah. And here to my right is our director. You just heard him give a little bit of information on those topics. He is none other than Michael, the little dragon slamming, Michael, the dragon slayer heater. Say hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael. And to my right, he is our local guru, the man that handles all the local issues, the guy that will stay on top of everybody. If not, he will put a knot on their head. That is Mitchell Machine Gunter. You know there you go. Say hello, Mitchell.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, welcome in, guys. Who do you have on your watch party,
Oh,
sir?
goodness, man.
And do you have any
I don't have
guesses?
a watch party going on, but I've got
Okay.
a bunch of people on here.
Probably the same ones I have.
Lisa Tomlinson is on.
Did she give a guess?
Laura Marie Alligator is on. Sheila and Sam Allstott are on.
Okay.
Cassette Karis Howard is on. Of course, our brother Dwight Allen is on. Charles McKinney Jr. is on. Raymond Noe is on. Shirley Bagwell is on. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Melissa Delk is on. Let's see who else. Doug McClure is on.
Hey.
Billy Rayberg is on, and he acted like he was on his meds tonight
Did he?
for a few
Oh,
seconds, and then he's got
boy.
a comment that we need to share.
Yeah.
Jimmy Langley is on. Kevin Howe is on. Donald Stevens is here and on. Mark Goody is on. And I know I saw at least Ashley Rayberg is on. Mark Goody is on. Marion Pullen Orton is on. Gordon Smith is on. Hello, Sheriff.
Hello, Sheriff.
And Stephanie Smith is on.
All right. We found that block cheese. We just got to get our hands on it. We'll talk about that here in a minute. You know that block cheese we've been
Yeah,
trying
we
to
were
find?
talking about that.
Who do you have there?
All right, so we've got Paul Phillips joining in, along with Scott Jones, Robert McGee from the city of Stark,
All right.
Joey Shuford, Tony Black from Tallahassee's on, Kenneth Crawford has joined us, Janelle Harris, Blaine Willis, Gainesville firefighter, joining us, Kathy Fisher, David Theus, Jack Gerald,
Yes, look at there.
Yeah. that's
Joe
all.
Jordan has joined us, Chrissy and Ricky Thompson have joined us, as well as Jadetta Atkins.
All right. Any guesses?
I have no guesses, but Tony Black says, hello, guys.
All right. Well, hello, Mr. Black. How are you? Dave, who do you have?
I got Sharon Pettiprint.
Sharon Prentice, the model?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and she wanted me to.
Uh-huh.
She wanted to thank all of us for starting the show with the prayer and the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
We understand. She's very welcome.
Wouldn't have it
Any other way.
There you go.
That's who you have. That's it, guys. Do you got any guesses?
J.D. Reddick.
Uh-huh.
No. Melissa Lyons, my daughter
Hello.
from Ohio. No guesses yet.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Michael, why don't you read over that again, and we'll go ahead and give the guesses. I got several of them on here, so we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. So the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph the last week of September in this particular year: crackdown ordered on pool rooms and sale of shine. Lottie, will a new mine give it a boost? And BHS football opens the season with St. Leo on Friday. Just again as a recap, the Stark mayor, the city police chief, and the sheriff at the time told officials they were going to crack down on gambling and moonshine whiskey. DuPont built a multi-million-dollar mining operation in Lottie, and they were looking at meeting with the residents to see what kind of impact it would have on the town.
Right.
And, of course, the Tornadoes opened their football season this particular year with a game against the St. Leo Lions coming up from Dade City. All these happened in the last week of September.
Let's get some guesses.
We
got our
got our guesses.
Well,
Write them all down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were ready to read, read the people. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've got it like that. I mean, everyone's
Let's
seen
go.
it.
Give it to me.
So, it was in September of 1953.
Oh,
man, we all sucked
nice.
on that
Three people got that right. Way to go, you three. How about that? I'm trying to go back and see. Maybe I can pull up which three if I read that. Was you one of them? Heck no,
I
we
said
went
56, but I was really looking at 53.
Yeah, how about that? Todd Jordan is watching. Dwight Allen, good evening, fellow patrons. Charles McKinney. Austin's Weather Service is here. Dwight Allen says, Byron and Mitchell, you look younger, David Rodgers. Hello, fellers. Sheila Sam Allstock, good evening. Hello to you. Hello, Cassette. Dwight Allen, amen. Yes, Lord, please protect our police officers. Preston Shepard, Austin Stevens is watching. Again, Lisa Thomas and Raymond No. Good evening, sir. Hey, Mom. I know she's got us a cake coming, too. I think at some point, yes. I know that was in the talk. Melissa Delp, my next door neighbor. Good evening, ma'am.
Oh, and if she figures out the one that I think she's going to
I
figure
think
out.
it is.
No, I don't.
That's not the one?
It's not what we were talking about. This
no.
is something different, and if it's
Oh, boy.
ooh, Lord, I got to see what she was talking about on the way to Tennessee. Ooh, Lord.
Dwight Allen says he went to Fun Point Friday night, Michael, and he said the food was delicious.
Yes. Always is.
Melissa Delp says she loves the hat, Byron.
Thank you so much.
Shirley Bagwell says good to see all three of us here tonight. Absolutely, thank you. Doug McClure said a shed fire. Yep. Dwight Allen says, Dave Holland, you got to fix the show pony's hair. I'm assuming we're talking about the little gray.
If I can lock him down in my chair.
It looks like a ball spot.
It does. It does. But
That or
skin.
Skunk boy.
Skunk boy.
Skunk
yeah.
boy.
You know, there was a player at Bradford County when I was in high school that actually did that to his hair. Put
Really?
Right down the center
Oh,
of his
boy.
hair. Yeah.
Well, he can have this one. Hello, my fellow patrons. Billy Rayburn said, Subway's the bomb. Jimmy Langley, what's up, old friend? How are you, my man?
Somebody's the bomb.
Yeah.
You know what he's talking about. That's pretty
good. Kevin Howe's watching. Donald Stevens, Mark Udi. Jim Langley says, wish the cool weather would make it down here in the Bahamas. That's where Jim's at.
Not going to happen. I don't
Not
think.
going to happen, I don't think, Jimmy. But, hey, it
Last
can
time-
it happen?
The last time that happened was 1977, where brief snowflakes actually did start flying in the air.
Thank you, Austin. Look at there with some weather history. Billy Rayburn said, you can put a lot of drug in David's Depends. You are off your meds now, brother. You are off your meds.
That, like I was saying, he acted like he was on
Ashley,
it before.
right, yeah. Ashley, his daughter's watching. Lisa Thomas said, you are so bad. Ashley said, well, thank you, ma'am. I'm not going to read the comment. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll just leave it at that, won't we, Byron? Prayers for all of my brother and sister fighters. Prayers for all. Yeah, you got that right. And then we got guesses. John Garner from Pascagoula, Mississippi's watching. Hope everything's going well there after the storm. Marion Poland Orton is watching. Let's see. Gordon Smith, like you said. Billy Rayburn, the middle school team is killing them. Very high school, 40-something to nothing. Okay, that sounds good to me. Now Billy is not on his meds. Have you seen his Facebook page today, Charles McKinney said?
Have you seen the quote from Gordon?
No, I didn't.
Mr. Schmidt said, yeah, how much money is needed for the food pantry before you cut your hair off?
We haven't really decided that, have we?
No.
Have we really decided a number?
Well, no.
Do we
I mean,
want to do the $5,000 again?
I would like for us to try to do the $5,000 again. I mean, I'm in.
Are you in? Are
I'll
you
do
boys in? Are y'all going to be in with me this time?
Yeah.
For $5,000, Mitchell?
Uh-huh.
$5,000. You can see us all.
Bing.
Except Dave. It's going to take 10 or
Yeah,
15.
I'm going to be busy doing everybody else.
Everybody's hair.
Dave's out of this one, y'all.
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
you wasted that chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I
I'm
squeaked
gonna
by
let
the
my hair
last
grow
one.
back because I have a feeling we're gonna have a cold winter.
Oh, okay. The company that came here before DuPont was named Humphrey Gold, I believe.
There you go.
Does that sound
That
familiar?
would be that was it.
Okay. Dwight Allen, 2 in a row, he says on the guesses.
Yep.
Hello there. Robert McGee, good evening, my fellow patriot. All right, guys, looks like all the gang is here. Yep, Noah Gibson. Hello, Sarge. Say hello to Sarge.
Hey, Sarge!
Alan Wood had the skunk hair. Is that his name?
That was who it was.
That's what it was.
I wasn't
yeah.
going to say his name.
Yeah. Sheila Dwight did, though. Didn't have no problem.
No, he didn't have any problem.
Sheila DeRosset says, nice hat, Byron.
Thank you again.
Yeah, there you go. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to On the Spot with David Rodgers. We're going to get right to it. I'm going to turn it over to our local guru, the guy that knows all, is all, and bees all. That is Mitchell Machine Gunter. Good evening, Mitchell.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to talk about some events that are going on. Of course, the Gator Nationals kick back off this weekend at Gainesville Raceway. They start everything off on Friday through Sunday, and also on Saturday afternoon, starting at 5:30 to 7 p.m., or if you want to stay later, you can, is the car and truck cruise-in there. It's a free event. We'll be giving an award away to the best cruiser of the month. And we would like to talk to everyone who participates and how we can make this event better, and also, do we do door prizes, more awards, and we kind of want to be filled in by y'all, the ones who participate. I want to get over to the Bradford High School. The Bradford High School has a work-based learning experience program called OJT, or On-the-Job Training, under the Vocational Rehabilitation Health Service students at BHS and the North Florida Technical College. These services include career and interest in assessment, job analysis, worksite development, employees assistance, also on-the-job training, which a lot of people need, and so on and so on. And so we want to thank the Bradford County School
I've got to
District
stop
for
you right here, Mitchell. And I appreciate it. I've
yeah,
got to stop
you
you
got-
right here.
this-
You've
this
got
is-
to hear this.
Listen to this.
This is our
ladies and
Sheriff Gordon Smith, one of our great friends that we all love. Count me in for the first $1,000 to start it off with. We should all do more to help those in our community. I've helped 2 families alone this week.
right.
Yeah. Thank you,
So,
Gordon. He
already
understands.
$1,000
So
to
much.
start. Thank you so much,
so
Gordon.
much, Sheriff.
Raymond Noah is going to be loving to hear that. Oh my gosh.
And one thing I wanted to get back to the cruise-in real quick.
Oh.
Well, we'll be doing a 50-50 drawing up there. Everybody can participate. Even if you don't bring a car, you can buy a 50-50 raffle ticket. Half of that money will go to the Bradford County. So-
boy.
Awesome.
And hopefully the winner who wins it will donate their half back. That usually happens a lot.
We're getting a haircut next week, boys.
We'll see what goes
I
on
don't
with
matter
that.
to me.
I'm,
I would love it.
Now
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about something that's probably going to make both of y'all's blood boil a little
Yeah, I
bit.
already know this.
Over in St. Johns County, Barcher Trail High School football team players kneeled during the national anthem over there when they were playing Creekside on September the 11th. Their coach, Daryl Sutherland, said that he wanted to give his players the opportunity to represent their family's belief, celebrate the freedoms of our country, and also to still pause and respect and unity during the national anthem.
well, I've got a response for him, and it'll be real brief. That's fine. You have the right to do that. but now prepare yourself for the consequences of your actions.
Right,
Exactly.
and also, with you saying that, Byron, a lot of parents have been writing, and they're saying, hey, they don't want their tax dollars funding that football program. It could be better spent somewhere else
That's the
if
consequences.
they are going to be kneeling during the national anthem.
There you go.
So
I didn't
it's
have no
already
problem.
started.
I don't have no problem with what they did. I have a problem with the timing when they do this.
Yes.
This should not be done
I
during our national anthem. Period.
Do it
I did
before or
not
after.
have. People said I did not have a problem with Colin Kaepernick. I did not. Let me explain just real quick because I don't want to browbeat this because we need to move on. I didn't have a problem with Colin Kaepernick and what he stood for. I had a problem on the stage that he did it on. And that is right in the middle of the national anthem, thinking he can take a knee in front of 85,000, 90,000 fans and all the TV viewers that were watching, the millions, to bring his format to. If you want to do this after a game or after the football season and you want to get every football player in the NFL to go down there, and I'm okay with that. I have a problem with the venue that he picked to do it at. That was my problem.
I have a problem with the whole entire thing, kneeling for the national anthem, and I'll tell you why. Number one, it's extremely disrespectful to
And that's what I meant by that.
a lot of the veterans.
Yes.
Number two, it's a piece of propaganda. The numbers don't add up to what they're protesting.
Right,
Period.
right.
You want to talk about police reform, you talk about police reform. You want to talk about actually accomplish something to do that, you don't offend half of your audience by doing that. Probably more than half of your audience, because the NFL's numbers have been suffering ever since.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you go to your state representatives, because you are basically a public figure that makes lots of money,
Yes.
and you get them to actually start passing legislation, because knowing in California they're going to pass it, to do exactly what you're saying your problem is. You don't offend people because it causes their ears to close
Correct. Then you
to your problem, to the problem that you're protesting.
Right. I agree.
I'm sorry.
No. Because
I've had enough.
What you got,
called it
Dave?
out.
I agree with you, David.
Okay.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
If you're going to kneel,
And I think that's what Byron was saying.
yes, exactly. And if you're going to kneel,
Kneel in unity in the middle of the football field before the national anthem's even played.
if you're going to kneel during the prayer, and then stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's such a disrespectful thing to do at that point in time. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But then, if you're the NFL and you did what you did to a certain Gator player that everybody knows and loves because he was doing it, and you're not doing the same thing to these people, that's hypocritical as all get out. Knowing what you did to that man, you're running out of the NFL because of his belief in God, and that was nonsense.
That was nonsense.
Well, it's already affecting the NFL as of right now. They're viewing on TV, people watching is down 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this last Sunday night's football game was down
38%. Down
close to
38%.
So they're going to feel the repercussions of this going on. And as long as they let it go on, the more it's going to get in their pocket. And the more sponsors that does advertisements, they're going to say, you know what, people's not watching this, they're watching other programs. And we're spending a bunch of money out here to advertise our product. Guess what happens? They pull their product away from the NFL during the football games, and they put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that really hurts.
Yeah, they seem to forget that we are the ones paying their salary.
Right.
Thank you.
The thing that they've forgotten is this. The majority of us sports fans that are true sports fans want an out. We want an out.
Yes.
We want away from all of the political nonsense.
Right.
We want away from the everyday
God, yes.
whatever it is that we go through. And we use that because we enjoy sports to get away from everything. You stick that back in people's face and they're going to get mad.
Well, I tell you, I've been boycotting the NFL. I have not been watching it.
I have.
And I wish I could have watched that game that Dallas played against the Falcons so bad. But you know what? I'm sticking to my guns. I said that I'm not going to watch them. No matter what, as long as they are protesting the national anthem, I'm not going to watch. Even though Dak Prescott threw for over 400 yards and rushed in 3 TDs for a record. But you know,
Jacksonville is mine and Byron's team. I would have loved to watch those 2 games. I'm not going to do it though.
I don't watch it. I know they won the first game. I don't even know if they won the second game. I know nothing about it.
They played at Tennessee because you was on
They
the way
did.
home.
They did win.
No, they lost.
Okay,
33-30. But it was supposedly it was a good game.
I have not missed a season of NFL since I was 5 years old, and I am not watching it this year because I'm not putting up with this.
start standing for the flag, and people will come back and start watching.
Well, if you're not going to put your hand over your heart, at least stand for the national anthem. You don't have to do that. And like I said, there are ways you can get your objectives accomplished that doesn't include offending the majority of the people that are your fans.
And don't use it at a game.
You're committing Harry Carey.
Before I jump back over into Clay County news, but I want to give a shout out to Pouncey that plays NFL. Instead of putting someone that was a criminal on his football helmet, he decided to honor a fallen police officer.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
There's a couple other players too that is
Are
Pat Tillman. Y'all remember Pat Tillman?
Yep.
Used to play for Arizona Cardinals.
What do you think Pat Tillman would say?
Oh
about
my
this?
gosh! Pat, do you even want to really go down that road?
He would probably like to line them up and walk down the sideline and pop each one of them in the mouth.
Hey,
That's what he would like to do.
I want to move on here real quick.
He would probably do more than one unsportsmanlike conduct in the middle of the game, too, is probably what he would do.
And he was a hell of a football player.
Yes,
Y'all don't know Pat Tillman, y'all just go read about him. Speaking of the Bradford County Food Pantry, every Friday until further notice, the Bradford Food Pantry will do a drive-through distribution beginning at 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. In the nearby future, we will begin to verify who you are using driver's license ID and your address to verify you are a resident in Bradford and or Union County.
Right.
To qualify for the food given by the government, you must have a low income below the poverty level, such as receiving food stamps or EBT. SSI, which is not Social Security based on work history or disability after you have worked, Medicaid, not Medicare, and TANF, cash assistance for your kids. This is based on your current financial situation. The food pantry is directed to report our suppliers anyone who violates these requirements. It is also restricted to 1 pickup per household.
That's correct.
Make sure it is also restricted to 1 pickup per household.
Yeah, they were having situations of people that were coming
back around.
And see, that's what that right there is going to help a whole lot by using driver's license, because you can't have 2 people out of the household lining up.
Wait, so you're saying in order to be able to do something correctly, you have to have ID? What a shocking
idea.
Where are we at?
Oh, boy.
My God, this is 2020.
Wow. Have to have ID to pick up food from the food pantry, but don't have to have it to vote.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, I'm going to step over in Clay County.
Yeah.
Kevin Connor was arrested in Clay County on Thursday as he said he was having a peaceful protest. But according to the Clay County Sheriff's Office, it appears on the report that Connor was arrested at 1505 County Road 220 for waving a large black flag and stepping into the roadway to impede traffic.
Imagine that.
I wonder what that large black
So
flag
Connor
said.
ignored the commands of the Clay County officers that asked him several times to stop and step away from the road. He was also charged with resisting without violence. So yes, a lot of people know who this Kevin Connor is. He's the one that orchestrated the BLM protest that took place Sunday at 6 p.m. Right here. Actually, he stopped at 6 p.m. and it started at 4.
Yeah.
And they were right there in front of CVS. But also on that note of them being there, I got involved and came down to support my president, Trump, on the corner over by Walgreens. And the reason why I came on down, because I seen this jacknut, what he was trying to do. He walks over in the CVS parking lot where we had some young kids with their pickup trucks, and he tried to cause a confrontation with them. These are young men. You know, I don't know how old this guy is, but I know these kids are a whole lot younger than what he is. And he's trying to get them to bite, to say something back, to start something that would not end very well.
That's right.
So that ticked me off. So I left for my house and I came on down there because I'm not going to let no grown man pick on some young kids. Just ain't going to happen.
Well, with the amount of people that I've seen there, Mitchell, as I was coming around from the radio station doing radio promos, I think there was several of them there that could handle the situation.
Right. I think there was a total of 13 of them that was supporting Joe Biden and BLM. It was pretty peaceful.
It was.
Except for he's trying to start
Cause
something with those kids. And then after they started to leave, this young black lady, she started trying to do the same thing at the Shell station parking lot before they left. And to hear it correctly, what I heard come across 301 while traffic was coming by was the other person told her, "This is not the place for you to be doing this. Get your butt in the car and get it in the car now." So she was trying to spark something up over there in the parking lot at the Shell station before they left. And of course they came by shooting us birds and saying obscene stuff to us. But you know, that's the way that the Democratic Party is rolling these days, you know. So if you're a Democrat, your Democratic Party has been hijacked by socialists. If you need to lay down the law, if you're a Democrat, to these socialists and tell them, hey, we don't want you in our party. You don't represent our beliefs. We are the Southern Democrats of old school. So why don't y'all go form y'all's own party? That's what I would do if I was a Democrat.
If I was a Democrat right now, you know what I would do?
Change parties.
Switch parties.
And people are. If you can look at the numbers week by week here in Bradford County. You can also look at the numbers in other counties throughout the state of Florida. And the numbers are changing dramatically. People jumping from the Democratic Party, either going Republican or going non-party.
By the way, I did voice my opinion to that. I rode by that on the way back from Tennessee, and they all got the big thumbs down from me all the way down the line.
I'm going with that.
Billy going like this out the window.
I am not sure, Billy. Michael's going to look it up. He wants to know what the final score of the middle school game was tonight. I don't know that. Did you, Byron? Did you see it?
I did. There's some good comments in here, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mike Allen says, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, and then we'll get a lot of county news.
Good night, fellow Patriots. Dwight says, good night, partner. Donald Stevens says, outstanding. Gordon Smith said, here, Stephanie and I could not think of a better cause. We have families who just need a hand up during these difficult times in our community. He said it perfectly right there. Amen, brother. Do y'all all know when absentee ballots will be mailed out in Florida / Bradford County? Michael, do you know that as of then, or Mitchell?
I don't have it on hand, but you can go to the Bradford County Elections webpage. You can look it up on there. They keep the updates pretty regular there. Terry Vaughn does. And it will have that information on there.
Good deal. Noah Gibson says the NFL is banned now. No, I thought you'd already banned it, but that's your choice. Governor has addressed the rioting part. I'm going to get into that here in just a little bit. Stand up or don't play, Charles McKinney says.
Yep.
Jason Boxar says, how about you stand up for the national anthem, which is representative of their right to protest? Oh, that's hard.
Miracles of miracles.
Noah says, even my dad has banned it. Roy Jackson, thank you for tuning in. I want this malarkey to end too. Does anyone recommend Band of Brothers?
It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
It sure is. Yeah. Lorenzo, my boss is watching. What's up, Al? Robert McGee, if they knelt before God every day, they wouldn't want to kneel for anything else.
That's right.
Amen, brother. How about for God? Our weekend money pays to see a good time, but our money is not worth it now, Noah Gibson says. Raymond, no. Here we go. Works at the Bradford County Food Pantry says, 3 years ago, I had a bonfire with 50-plus years of NFL merchandise. Don't miss it a bit, he said. How about that?
And with him saying that, a lot of people's finding out they're not spending 8 hours sitting in front of a TV watching NFL football on a Sunday.
That's right.
And are actually having more time with their family. I mean, I've said it quite a few
1,000
times
times, yeah.
And they're like, hey, I'm missing out on a whole lot with my family by sitting down watching these football games, and then they want to disrespect their flag.
Nope.
I'm not watching them no more. The same thing goes for Major League Baseball and basketball and every other organization that's doing it.
YouTube, Tammy Testo's on, and somebody wants you to say hello to him.
Hello, Albie!
Albie
That
loves
always
the
makes
show.
me smile.
But me too,
I know,
man. We talk about all this mess, but when somebody comes on and says, Albie says, hey, and it just makes his day for us, he probably don't even know really, and he may know what we're really talking about. But just for somebody to come on and say that, don't that just warm your heart?
Yeah,
Get you
yes.
away from all this other garbage.
Yes.
I don't miss the NFL and I don't miss NASCAR. I haven't watched the NFL since Jags knelt over across the pond when they talk about remember in London. Yeah, I remember that. Herschel Walker said it all. Protests during sports games are not productive towards making a change in social justice. Herschel Walker, you are my second favorite person in America now.
I like Mike Ditka and his comments.
Yeah, Mike Ditka too.
If you don't like it, get out.
Pretty much.
So, pretty much. Yeah. Tammy Kesto says, remember a dear friend in prayer and a good neighbor. He was a young man. He passed away from COVID-19 this afternoon. Oh, man.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that, Tammy. Yeah, we will definitely keep him in our prayers, and hopefully his family's okay. And if there's anything we can do, just messages on the spot with David Rodgers on the spot 32091 @gmail.com. Michael Heater is always checking that Gmail. We've got Austin check. We got several people checking it. So, but anyway, Lisa Thompson said I did. Oh, Jeff Booty said Bradford Middle School 54-0.
Shellacking.
Shellac, huh? It looks like they're making another run, Michael.
Looks like it.
Wow. I would like to see the Democrats try to lay the law down to the socialist part of their party.
Exactly. I mean, and they're being hijacked.
Yeah, they are.
And that's why you've actually seen some of the senators walk across the floor and change their party.
Sure. They don't agree with the actual basis of what how they're trying to govern. And there are a whole lot of Americans that don't agree with that at all.
They're trying to break up our Constitution and our rights. I want to switch back over real quick to this story is actually in the Gainesville Sun. It happened over in Jonesville at a Publix. But a state attorney office has been asked to look into a heated confrontation involving a Alachua County mask mandate at a Publix store in Jonesville last week. On Tuesday, law enforcement was called to Publix supermarket at the Steeplechase Chase there at 14133 West Newberry Road, following a dispute between a shopper and a code enforcer who said that the 39-year-old man became hostile after being asked to wear a mask in accordance with the county mask mandate. According to the witness interviews and a filed offensive report, Marvin Ripner walked into a Publix without a face covering against the store and the county policy. When code enforcer stationed at the store followed him inside and asked him whether he had a mask, and the dispute turned ugly. Ripner, a retired Gainesville police sergeant, said he informed the duo that he does not have to wear a mask and said he has 2 doctor's notes to prove it. And see, with him saying that he does not have to wear it due to medical issues, guess what? he doesn't have to produce that information regardless because the HIPAA law then turns in
Right.
and
That's exactly
protects him.
right.
So he doesn't have to show that code enforcement guy a thing.
Nope.
All you have to do is say, I have a health issue and I cannot wear the mask and they cannot stop you.
That is exactly right.
That's right down the
So-
line right there.
You know,
I'll be glad to show you this mask, and this doctor's note, so I can have a nice lawsuit against Logical
Yeah,
County.
absolutely.
Because that's none of your business what my medical information
right.
is.
The report said Rittner then returned outside the store and confronted the two code enforcers demanding to see their badge numbers and he was swearing at them, which Rittner conceded. So I don't blame the man for being mad.
No.
I mean, if he's got a
No.
medical issue, he doesn't have to wear the mask.
No.
And you know what I think is going to happen to this case?
It's going to
At
go
the state
bye-bye.
attorney's office,
Yeah.
it's going to be
Throw it
thrown
away.
out the window.
Yeah.
Sure
You
it
know.
is, because it's not law.
Right.
That's
You
it.
know.
This is not law. This is code. This is not law.
Right.
Right. You know, that's one thing. I'll go ahead and let you know.
I know what you're going to say.
No. I got something. For
Like
you
if
when
you
do
go in
national.
Walmart, okay,
Oh.
they want you to wear your face mask in Walmart here in Stark. But if you walk in the store and you take your face mask off, they cannot tell you to put it back on.
No.
That's right.
They don't have the right to. There's no ordinance here in Bradford County like they have over in Alachua County that requires you to wear a face mask.
Constitutionally, they can't do it. None of these places can do that. And the thing is I'm waiting on the class action lawsuits to sue some of these places that are doing it.
It's gonna happen.
That's coming.
That's coming.
People are intelligent.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's been a lot of trying to lawsuits on getting rid of the face mask and saying it was unconstitutional. But so far, it has been held up a few times by Florida Supreme Court, Byron. So it's been held up by Florida Supreme Court. Now, Alachua County can't do it.
Of course, it's been held up by the Florida Supreme Court that they can do that, because what they're doing is they're actually using the Constitution, saying that the bodies that they're governing have the right to say what they can and can't do. But the thing is when you start charging people for this, that's when it becomes unconstitutional.
Right.
Because
You can tell them all day long you need to wear a mask.
Because
Yeah.
what
You
is
can't make them.
what is the
Yeah.
charge? What is the charge? At the end of the day, what is the charge, Byron? What are you arresting me for not wearing a mask? Where's the law that says that, Byron?
I'm not a doctor and I can eat that one alive. And you know why I can eat that one alive? Because this is not aerosolized.
Right.
It's past through droplets. You can't, a mask does nothing. It does nothing, literally.
Well, speaking of masks, real quick, I talked about the Gator Nationals earlier. Coming back, they will require you to have your temperature taken. You will have to wear a mask the whole entire time that you're in there. You will be asked to exit. You have to wash your hands so many times while you're in there with hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And you have to remain 6 foot apart at all times.
Do you know why they're doing that? It has little to do with Alachua County
It
statutes.
has to do with NHRA and their policy that they put in
Yeah.
place.
Right, and you know why? Because what's going to happen is the first person that catches COVID-19 at one of those events is going to attempt to sue.
Right.
That's the reason why they're doing that.
Well, I think they ought to have you sign a little statement when you go in so they can't be sued.
sued. That's exactly
Right.
Right.
Now, we when we race out there on the weekends, we have to sign a piece of paper
Oh yeah.
that states that we will not hold the track accountable if we catch COVID-19.
Well, I mean,
And who's to say that I picked it up at the track?
Right.
those type of lawsuits to me are about as dumb as
I could have picked it up at the gas station before I got there.
a group of people.
Could have picked it
A
up 2
group
weeks
of-
ago. Who the
A
hell
group
knows?
of people, and you know who I'm talking about because this is all over the news, saying that Donald Trump is responsible for 200,000 American deaths is about the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
But we can segue into what Byron was saying.
Right.
But let me just get into something here real quick. Marguerite says, do stores have the right to refuse service if there's a store's policy now to wear a mask?
No.
Yeah, yes, they do.
They have to make reasonable accommodations to help you.
They have to make reasonable
They can
accommodations to
right.
help you. If you say I've got a medical issue with it, then they have
They
to.
have to, right.
Right.
But people have the right to refuse service to anybody that they don't. Okay.
I already talked to Southeastern ADA about it. They have to make reasonable accommodations to help people, whether that be buy it online or go through a drive-through.
Now he specifically said inside the store, Donald.
They have to make reasonable accommodations to help you.
So if you go into the store and they say, "Hey, you're not wearing your mask. We do have a mask policy." You're saying that I can go say, "Hey, you need to help," or they should say, "I need to help you. I need to figure out some way to do it." What's my repercussion from that then?
Good luck.
Sarge,
Okay,
that's
what I'm saying.
That's the problem.
22.
Sarge has it absolutely right. If someone asks you to put on a mask, just say "Have a nice day" and move on. Hit them in the pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you look at Florida Statute 876.12, it's illegal to wear a mask in the state of Florida.
And even worse, the federal statutes about wearing a mask with a firearm if you can still carry it. So, I mean,
but again, there's nobody there to enforce it.
Right.
Of course.
Well, speaking of COVID, so far right now, 751,319 people have tested positive. New cases today, 2,470. You know, a while back we were seeing cases per day around 8,000.
You're right.
7,000. It has dropped off. And some days it's 1,000 or a little less.
Mm-hmm.
So we have starting to come down that curve. Deaths since March, 13,579. Deaths today, 99. I want to go ahead of pediatric cases, 56,865. Pediatric ER admissions, 3,855. Pediatric deaths, only 8 in the state of Florida. Cases in K through 12 schools in the state of Florida, 13,433. I want to go right over here to the counties. Alachua County, their total is 7,836. Today they had 70 new cases. The positive percentage of yesterday was 15.9. So Alachua is still kind of staying up there a little high in their numbers, but you got to think everybody lives on top of each other over there in those apartments.
And
it's easily to be transmitted.
Can I stop you right there,
Sure.
Mitchell? And Byron, you probably know this. Maybe we hit on it a little bit. Y'all do know that these numbers are going to start skyrocketing here in a little bit. Can anybody tell me why?
Because
The election's coming?
The election's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, number one. Number two is
I'm gonna bite my tongue.
all these college football players and athletes are getting tested 3 times a week.
Yes.
And it's mandatory before you play.
Yeah, that's
So,
NCAA.
look, you remember what you said about the numbers to me? Those numbers, even though they add to the total.
The higher the number, the
Yeah.
lower the death rate
rates
is going to go.
go. Right.
What it is it's a tactic to make everybody panic about this virus.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm going to go into with these this a little
But
bit.
I just want to tell you that those numbers is possibly going to go up because of the amount of times colleges are testing their athletes.
Yeah.
And some are even every day, some are even daily. But you'll get into that as we go.
Baker County, 1,424 cases. They have 5 new cases today. The percentage of positive cases yesterday was 31.2%. In Bradford County, this is one a lot of people's wanting to know. It hadn't really been in a newspaper. They were getting negative feedback. I've seen a whole thing on Bradford word of mouth. But I'll tell you what, I think our newspaper does a really great job of trying to keep everybody informed, especially when there's a newspaper that don't give us news every single day. I think they do great. In Bradford County, we have 1,057 cases total. Cases since March the 1st was 1,043. New cases today was 10. Percentage yesterday was 62.5. So, who we always want Leon County, don't we?
Well, that's Tallahassee over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Clay County is 4,998 with 31 new cases today. and we're going to run over here to Leon County real quick, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But while I'm looking, I want to remind everybody: don't look at the big number, because the majority of the time, the percentage of people really being positive around you are way lower than what you expect. I say 25% to 15% of your population where you live actually has a chance of having the virus at a given time.
And the numbers are actually lower because people actually get better at different times. So what ends up happening is when you hear all of these numbers, it's skewed because they're telling you the number from the beginning of this virus when they started to count, not how many people have got.
Right. Like Leon County, they're at 10,336. They had 135 new cases today. But Leon County is a big area, so you are going to have a high number of cases.
Florida State University sits right there. Florida A&M sits there.
Just like Duval. Duval's going to be extremely high because they have a lot of people that live there.
Yeah, it's also college town.
The thing is, if you feel unsafe, wear a mask. If you feel safe, don't. Don't wear a mask.
Now, don't get yourself in trouble. There are some counties that have some draconian regulations.
That's right.
Like St. Johns County.
Yeah.
St. John.
Stay away from those counties if you can. But if you're inside of them, wear a mask.
But I
you
will
don't feel
tell
like
you,
dealing with nonsense.
I will tell you, over in St. Augustine, you got the city and the county right there.
Right.
It's mandated in the county that the city that you have to wear a mask. But in the county
it's
you
not.
do not.
It's not.
So, you would look kind of ridiculous on the beach with a mask.
Oh, God, yes.
You imagine what you look like after you got sunburned?
I look like a masked skunk.
Here's the thing about this.
Boy.
We have failed to use some common sense with this in some places. Because if you're wearing a mask, you need to be wearing a mask when you're around people. And you can't be further away from people than 6 foot.
Right.
But if you can be further away from people than 6 foot, a mask is absolutely useless. I can tell you somewhere else it's absolutely useless. It's absolutely useless in outside events because they are not super spreader events. If it was, then 3/4 of the rioters in this country right now would have COVID-19, and some of them would be dead. And you don't hear anything about that at all.
You can go riot, but you can't go to church.
Well, that's
You got something you want to read to us, Byron?
Oh, I don't know if I can get through this.
I don't
it
either,
almost brought me to tears.
With everything that is going on,
guys,
there's always a good story.
Guys, this is part of the reason why we do this. It's part of the reason why I taught at one point. To know that we've had this effect on somebody really, really makes me smile.
That's why I'm going to have you read it.
Alvy does understand some things y'all talk about. He calls y'all the news men, his friends, and he knows when it's time for your show to come on. He will tell me it's time for his friends since he started watching y'all's show. He has learned a lot about the main thing. He is learning to talk. Repeat that. He is learning to talk by watching y'all.
Oh,
so thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. We love you guys.
Wow.
Wow. And one thing I can say about all of us here is that we love everybody. We don't care what your race is or what your religion is. We love you, and we're all Americans here. Every single one of us. And we should have to care about each other.
We should.
We're in this thing called life, and we're all in it together. Mm-hmm. Why make it worse for other people?
That was very nice. I tell you, that's why we do this. That's why this started 2.5 years ago, because of things like this. Sometimes we Byron and Mitchell and Michael and David and Austin, Donald. Sometimes it seems like we're always bringing the bad. You know what I mean? Or
That's
we're always
good.
talking. That right there, man, just makes you want to get up and do this tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I'd like to screenshot that.
Absolutely.
That's
You
not
can.
good.
This is,
That's
Put
the-
it on our
that's the
page.
good.
that
It
is
really
the good.
is the
That
good.
is why we do this, man. I tell you,
And,
that's,
and we want to be a good influence on kids that
Yeah.
tune into our show, and we want to help guide them in the right direction. I'm even reaching out if you're a child at
Who
home
he is.
and you're having problems with life. If you ever
lay
wanted to
that
hit
out.
one of us up,
That'd be
you can do that. Go ahead and give you guidance to go talk to a preacher, go talk to your guidance counselor at school, to find ways to deal with your issues instead of keeping them in and letting them destroy you.
I think what
That's
Mitchell and
what it
Byron's
is.
trying to say is, and you guys, is we want to be big brothers. We want to be mentors to
We love our
to
community.
kids. We love our
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
Whoever
That's-
it is.
that's
You
why
don't
I'm
even
so
have
involved.
to be a kid. You don't even have to be a kid. If you're having issues or a problem that you don't feel like you can talk to a person and you just need somebody to vent to, that's what we're here for.
That's
And
it.
Byron, I'm surprised you got through that, man. I was looking at you, man, and
I-
I had to get my head down.
the first time I read it, I had to stop myself and go
Yeah.
somewhere else, so I
Yeah.
composed myself a little
Well,
bit.
Yeah.
and I wanted to mention one thing real quick, and I'm gonna let Byron get on this bill
Yeah.
so I don't keep on interrupting him.
You're fine.
But we got a lady that's running for Congress, Kat Kamek, and I've talked to her several times. If she gets elected in Congress, I'm going to really be asking her to push for legislation for more money for schools across the United States to help kids with disabilities, and especially those that are hard to see and find, as like dyslexia. Also, those that have a lot of problems with ADHD and whatever, because all of the funding from the state to our school on that level has to come from federal government.
Yes.
And a lot of people doesn't know that.
That's good.
Getting to know Kat pretty well and talking to her about these things. I talked to her from day one when she started running, and she sat down and listened, and she understood every word that I said. So I want to try to keep pushing it with her and see if we can get other people involved there, and also on Congress with Rick Scott.
Senate.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
Senate Rick Scott and Marco Rubio,
Marco Rubio.
Senator, and try to push this to help these kids out.
all right, Byron, let's get to it. What do you have, brother?
Well, I
No, you got a couple of things.
I wanted to start tonight with something that's very, very good that we talked a very little bit about. Or actually, Michael here, you talked a little bit about it 2 shows ago. And I don't think people honestly understand the magnitude of what has gone on. There is no news coverage of this at all, and it is absolute crime that there is no news coverage of this. You will not see it on any of the networks. It's been barely mentioned. People are laughing about this, and I want everybody to understand this. This is one of the best things that has happened in this world, or the beginning of it. The results of it are going to be one of the best things that's happened to this world in a very, very long time. Our president, Donald Trump, has been, now I'm lost the word.
Nominated.
Nominated. Thank you.
Yes.
Lord, why didn't I think nominated? He has
Nobel
been
Peace.
nominated, not just once,
Twice.
but twice for a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, that being said, we're hearing a little bit of that, but nobody's telling you the why he's being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. What he's done is he's done something very non-traditional once again. He has actually gone to neighboring Muslim states in the Middle East and started talks with them to recognize Israel's right to be a nation, and started trade deals between them. Now, the problem has been with peace between Muslim states before is it's always gone through Palestine.
Right.
Palestine, you say what you want to, Palestine did not exist until after World War II ended. There is no such thing as a Palestinian until after World War II. Okay? These people hate Israel.
Sure do.
Okay? They don't want peace with Israel. They want the state of Israel destroyed.
Right.
And if you look at what happened in the world news, which where you're going to have to look to find it after this was done, you will find that not only have they turned on us like they normally do, they turned on Israel like they normally do. They turned on places like Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
The king of Saudi Arabia has actually come out and said that Israel has a right to exist as a country. That is an extraordinary
Accomplishment in
accomplishment in
Yes.
itself. Now, they haven't made trade deals. It's only been now,
In
Bahrain
Yeah.
and
Let's
the
see.
UAE,
UAE,
United Arab
Yeah.
Emirates,
Yeah.
now have deals with Israel to trade with them.
And
that
let's
doesn't
say
sound-
Oman too, right? Oman too.
It's coming.
Oman. It's coming. Okay.
Oman's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, now
In I think Yemen, right?
Yemen
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Here's the thing: there are two sects of Muslim religion that are majorities. You have the
Yeah.
Sunnis and you have the Shiites.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The majority of those states that are doing this are Sunnis. Okay? The states that you're going to see line up against them are Shiites. That would be Iran. And that would be places like Palestine. The brilliance of what Donald Trump did when he went to these other states is now Israel is going to have reluctant allies in the Middle East for this. And if they ally themselves with Muslims and there's peace for the first time between any of that in Israel, that accomplishment in itself, it's only been done one time. And it was done through the force of arms. And that was because Israel come out and just absolutely destroyed Egypt.
So yeah.
7-day war.
In a seven-day war, and they were forced to. And after they were forced to, they began to realize, hey, these people really aren't our enemies. They just
Right.
want to be left alone and live in peace. So this accomplishment from Donald Trump is not, I know it's not just him. Jared Kushner had something to do with it because he's the one that headed up that.
Right.
But this accomplishment from our United States government and the head of it, our President Donald Trump, deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. And it deserves the thanks of the entire Middle East. Some of them won't. Some of them will still continue to say that Israel's the little Satan and the United States is the big Satan. But that's all right. You have to have progress going towards what he's doing.
Right.
And he's gone about it in a different manner than anybody else ever has. And it's bringing results. It's unorthodox, but guess what? Almost everything he does is unorthodox except follow the Constitution.
Right.
And he really, guys, there are a lot of things Donald Trump has done for this country that has been absolutely great. What he's done for the world with this cannot be understated. And our media has done this country and everybody else in the world such a disservice by not covering this because of their Trump derangement syndrome. It's unbelievable. Please look into this. The man deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for this. Period. It's
Absolutely.
just fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. And we got into it a little bit, Byron, like you said.
And that's what I wanted to say that night that when I missed.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about that a little bit because we've never seen. No one has ever seen anything like this. No one alive has ever seen anything.
I want
like
to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Mitchell. I want to say that there's presidents that have tried this.
Yes, they go.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
go between
they go between-
Palestine and Israel,
Israel.
and it always ends up with Palestine breaking the agreements
Right.
and
It's
and
backfired in
attacking
their
Israel.
face. Yes.
You know, it kind of reminds me of
Bless you.
Reagan.
Bless you.
Thank you.
We're going to tear down the wall. between East and West Germany.
That's exactly
And getting rid of that.
That's exactly right.
And now building relations with Islamic states with Israel.
Mm-hmm. I'll take that back. We have seen one thing like that, and that's when Ronald Reagan broke the Soviet Union.
Yep.
True.
Without firing a shot.
Without firing a shot.
Yeah.
We've seen one other thing in our lifetime that even comes close to what Donald Trump did.
In Warsaw.
Yeah. So, you're living through extraordinary times, and people don't understand that because the media. Only thing that the media wants to say is "Orange man bad, Democrat good," and it drives me insane. People need to know that there are good things going on with this.
Right.
So,
and guess what? He doesn't have to have people asking questions from a sheet of paper where they put the answers on a teleprompter for him to answer.
Right.
I saw a picture of Joe Biden in somebody's fire the other day.
Really?
Yeah. It looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost because that's exactly where he is. He's nowhere to be found.
I'll be daggum. Ding, ding, ding. Dang.
Thank you very much. But anyway,
thank you.
Anyway, that's the first thing that I wanted to say because we need to get some good information out of people.
Absolutely.
That is great news because
Absolutely.
that's been a powder keg for a long time. And a lot of those countries have nuclear weapons.
Yes, they
and
do.
you never know what's going to happen when you get religious extremism involved.
And you know what, Byron, you hit something right on the head. I think me and Michael hit it a little bit when we talked about this last. You don't never know who's partnering with who over there, too. You don't never know who's in collusion with who. And like you were saying about that powder keg that could explode in your face, you're thinking, oh, and then all of a sudden, so-and-so has been right along there with them the whole time, and you don't even know because, like you said.
Well, now all of a sudden, if you believe in the Bible, the end times are not so close.
Not so close. That's exactly right.
It's just, to me, it's an amazing accomplishment. It should be celebrated as an amazing accomplishment. It would not matter to me if it was Barack Obama sitting in the office. If he would have done this, I would have said the man deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for this. Because any president of this country that can do something like that deserves credit for it.
And the one thing that's going to cause to those other Islamic states, they're going to see this trade going back and forth with these other ones, and they're going to be improving their way of life for their citizens, while the rest of them look like they're still living in the Stone Age.
Well, you're
and they're going to say, guess what? We got to jump on board, and we've got to do the same thing to survive.
What's happening is slowly but surely is you're getting Western ideas in the Middle East, and some of these people are catching on that if you actually have good relationships with your neighbors, you can actually accomplish a whole lot to improve your own way of living, and you can do it without violating your religion too. And so it's just a great accomplishment, and it deserves credit.
What else you got for us, bro? I know you got.
Now we're going into something that I'm not going to talk about very long because I really want to hit this last topic. That I've got. The very last topic is the most important topic of the day, and everybody knows what I'm going to go into. Okay, the COVID-19 numbers. Just a little bit of an update for you. We've had 200,000 deaths, 200,005 deaths now in the United States, and we're getting blame from Donald Trump for the 200,000 deaths plus in the United States. It is a load of propaganda malarkey. That's not the word I want to use, but I'm going to be polite because I know there's women and children listening to this show.
Well, they probably live in our show too.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about this I want everybody to understand. 80,000 of those deaths, 80,000 of those deaths come from nursing homes. Do you know where those states are that those 80,000 deaths come from?
Let's see.
I'll give you a little hint. One of them is New York. The other one is New Jersey. And the other one is, guess where?
It's maybe California.
Has a governor named Northern. Do you know which state that is? Ralph Northern. He's the same one that said it would be all right to kill a child after they were born, basically. Know where I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Virginia?
That's exactly where I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness!
Ding, 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 ding.
Dave wins a taco tonight.
Okay, now the federal government.
I'm sorry, dude. Sorry.
That's good, man. The federal government lays down mandates to the CDC.
Yeah.
What happens is the governors make up their own mind how they're going to implement it. Mm-hmm. And those governors decided that they were going to put COVID-19 positive patients in nursing homes with other people with comorbidities and people that are very old. It ran rampant, and they killed their own citizens with that stupidity.
And they should be held
accountable for it. There is 80,000 deaths right there that could have. Some of them were going to pass, unfortunately. But a large majority of that would never have happened if certain governors would have used their brains and said, I am not sticking these people in these nursing homes. Because guess what? There was expansions of hospitals everywhere with the exception of 3 places. New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. They were given places by the federal government that they could have put these people in and did not use them. Right. So do not tell me and the citizens of this country that Donald Trump is responsible for 200,000 deaths, because there's almost half of them that 3 governors could have taken care of.
Yep.
Do not bring that to me or to anybody else, because if you come tell me that, I'm going to call you a fool. Because that's what you are if you say a president controls what happens to a virus.
Wouldn't you like to see the governor of New York get charged with 2,500 counts of manslaughter?
2,500? You better keep on going. The number is much higher than that. I would love to see that clown get that, but it won't ever happen to him because New York's district courts are terrible. They're just so political, it's unbelievable. And that's district and federal courts in New York.
Right.
They're terrible. Now, I'm going to say this to everybody that thinks Donald Trump has something to do with this. The federal government has limited power. The states decide what they're going to do with this. He can give them help. He can give them suggestions, which is what he did. He can do things like what he did with going to manufacturers and start manufacturing things like ventilators, which are very complicated pieces of machinery. Thank you so much for those of you who listened to Mark Levin a little bit earlier tonight. He completely stole my thunder because I was going to say some of the same things he said. But, and this may sound like it, but I swear to you I was going to say exactly these same things tonight because I am furious about that 200,000 people blaming Donald Trump for 200,000 deaths from a virus. That is utterly insane is what that is. Your governors are responsible for what they do in your states. The federal governments can't come down and say, you can't do that.
That's right.
Right.
They're responsible themselves. They're responsible for the hospitals. And they're responsible for the PPE and the ventilators and everything else. The majority of the ventilators that were produced by companies like Ford went unused, by the way.
Yes, they did.
They were unneeded. The hospital beds that they were offered through the military in ships and by the Red Cross through ships and through Billy Graham's, I can never remember what the name of this is, but they were there too.
The Crusaders.
I can't remember what it is, but they offer mobile hospitals to places that are having problems. I can't remember what it is, but they went unused.
Right.
They stuck these our elderly grandparents in nursing homes and basically sentenced them to death.
Yeah.
So don't give me this 200,000 he's responsible for because he's not.
He's not responsible.
He shut China off and he was a xenophobe. He shut Europe off and he was a xenophobe again. And now all of a sudden he's responsible for it after he did everything he could possibly do. Tired of hearing that lie.
Hey, so you know, and that narrative and that lie keeps coming up. Why? Because it's closer to election time.
Right. It's a lie.
Slam it. Let's
never let a good crisis go to waste.
And that's why I'm on here doing this. I don't feel like I should have to defend the President of the United States from people who don't understand our federal government. Learn about what you're talking about before you go spouting off at the mouth. That is ridiculous. You're letting people master you. They're using you as useful tools. That's exactly what you're doing. Please stop it. It does not make any sense.
Samaritan's Purse.
Samaritan's Purse. Thank you. That's exactly. It's actually Billy Graham's son Franklin's. It's called the Samaritan's Purse.
Yeah.
So you have all of these things that he did, but he's still getting blamed for it. But it doesn't matter anyway, because no man, I don't care if he's president of the United States, can control a virus. He can't control it, much less one that was
a virus that spread all over the world. Oh, by the way,
imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
An engineered virus.
By the way,
hey, tomorrow they'll be saying he's responsible for the deaths in Europe.
Well, all of them. That's what I was just going to say.
Of course,
he's responsible for it all.
Sick of hearing that. Okay.
All right.
The last subject I want to touch on, and I really want to say this. I'm going to calm down just a little bit, and I want to say this because I want people to understand where I'm about to come from. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away. I did not like how she held court
right.
at all. I thought she legislated from the bench, which is not a judge's duty to do. I want to say my deepest condolences to her family. I also want to say my deepest condolences to the Scalias, because they were close friends with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And, you've heard me kid everybody about has anybody seen Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Right.
I didn't want to see Ruth Bader Ginsburg like this. And I don't want to see anybody catch something like what she caught in past. That's horrible. That being said, I want everybody to understand this is a little constitutional lesson for everybody out there. Donald Trump is the President of the United States. Donald Trump was elected by the people of the United States. This is not a lame duck session, which means that there's a possibility that he could have 4 more years.
Right.
Okay? He has control, not he, but the Republican Party has control of the Senate. It makes absolutely no sense at all for any party that's in control of the Senate and the presidency not to do what the Constitution says to do, which is nominate judges. Period. He needs to nominate. And he needs to do something that Rush Limbaugh said, and I'll give Rush Limbaugh credit for this. What they need to do is they do not need to hold a single hearing on this nomination.
Nope.
It's not constitutional. It does not have to happen. I'll tell you why. All you have to do is look at Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
They tried to destroy the man.
Yes, they did.
They tried to destroy his family. They darn near did it. And you are talking about a woman being nominated, and these creatures are going to come up there and they are going to throw mud at her for 3 days because they've already said they're going to give them 3 days. They do not need to do that at all. They need to have an up or down vote, and they need to be done with it. And when people go nuts, they need to go, you know what? The Republican Party used to back off of stuff like this when the Democrat Party used to whine and cry. But guess what? We learned our lesson very well from you. We're going to wield our power like a hammer. And it's not going to matter what you say or what you think. That's what they need to do. Because they've done it time and time and time again, and every time the Republican Party has a chance to do it, they back off in the name of civility. The Democrat Party hasn't been civil since before the Civil War. They're not a civil party. They do things like tell the American public we have to pass it before you know what's in it. They stand up on national TV and tell people it's your turn to ride on the back of the bus. They stand up on national TV and say things like, well, you're going to get to keep your insurance, and you're going to get to, your deductible's going to be less, and then everybody loses that.
Yep.
So I can go on and give you examples about how they do this. But I'm tired of playing games with these people. And the Republican Party should really take a lesson from Donald Trump, because he doesn't play games with these people. He does what he thinks right, and he uses the power of his office to use it. I haven't seen one thing in the entire time that Donald Trump has been president that I've looked at and went, you really can't do that. That's not within your power. And it was something so minor that they hardly paid any attention to it.
To it anyway, right?
So, guys, I want everybody to understand this. That nomination is what presidents do. That is part of their responsibility as a president. Part of our system says that the party in power gets to do the nominate, basically vote on the nomination.
Goes to the Senate.
The Republicans are in power. It needs to be passed, and they need to put a strong, constitutional conservative on that bench. Now, the Democrats are going to scream loud. Oh, she's too conservative. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. She is going to do the other. You know what the response needs to be to that?
She's going to uphold the Constitution.
No. It doesn't even need to be about that. The response needs to be tough. Where does it say that a party cannot put a constitutionalist on the Supreme Court of the United States?
Yeah.
Where does it say that you have the right to tell the party in power who they're going to put on that bench? Nowhere. Just like you cram it down our throats when we don't have the power with the people that legislate from the bench. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of Republicans backing off. It's time
to be on the offensive.
Not necessarily to be on the offensive, but to use the power that you have, and not worry about what these people who have been in Washington D.C. for 50 years plus think about what you're doing. Because quite frankly, it's none of their business other than to dissent against it. Because they're not in power. Period. If the American public chooses to put the Democrat Party back in power, God forbid, then it will be your responsibility to do the exact same thing because you've been doing it forever and we know you will.
Right.
Now, that's not going to happen. I'm not talking about them getting back in power. I'm talking about what Lindsey Graham has done. Lindsey Graham has basically given them it's not privilege. It's basically I'm looking for the word where people do it forever and it's just considered
entitlement.
Infinity.
No. Traditions. He's giving them the traditional treatment that they get. They actually get these hearings, which I understand.
And they gave him hockey sticks last night because they went to his house and beat a drum.
Okay.
All night long.
Look, I just gave an argument that directly says how full of hockey they are about this. And the reason that I say that is because, look, Barack Obama in his last term, the Republicans had the Senate. He did not have the power to nominate and push through a Supreme Court judge. They said, no, we're going to wait and let the people decide if that's going to happen. Now, Donald Trump is in his first term, and he has the Senate. He has the ability to do that. And they're going to do things like Chuck Schumer did. And I really wanted to say this because I know it's about over with. Chucky, let me tell you something. This goes for Nancy Pelosi, too. Both of you are saying everything's on the table when it comes to what happens to Donald Trump and the Senate does this. I want you to explain to me what everything means. Are you going to stack the courts? We can't seem to get an answer out of Joe Biden on that because he's disappeared. Are you going to remove the filibuster in the Senate? Or how about the other thing that's being thrown around? Are you going to try to get rid of the Electoral College?
And that's what I do.
Because let me tell you something. You best not worry about the other Republicans. If you do that, you best worry about we the people. Because I'm telling you, I don't want to see this country destroyed. And I can tell you, if you get rid of the Electoral College, it's going to destroy this country.
Yes, it is.
And I won't put up with it. I won't deal with it. You better worry about we the people if you try that. Just saying. I don't take too kindly to threats. You may think you're threatening the Republican Party officials that you sit up there with, but really what you're doing is you're threatening the entire American populace when you do things like that.
American people are the government.
No, the government.
They're the puppets.
There was a discussion today about when is the American guy directly asked Rush Limbaugh today. And I don't listen to Rush a whole lot anymore, but I have been here lately because he's because of the situation he's in. Directly asking, when are the American public going to have enough with these riots and stuff, and when are they going to come out and do something? And Rush didn't have an answer for him. I had an answer for him if I could have gotten through. It's coming. It's coming fast.
Right.
They don't understand the boiling anger that's going on out there with this because it's purposely done to disrupt this government and this election.
And I want to speak on something, a nomination for Supreme Court Justice. Now, you go back and listen, it's been done 26 other times.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of them have been approved and some of them haven't.
Right.
And I do want to tell everybody that lives in the great state of Florida this. We actually have a justice that is on the final four of our president's list from the Florida Supreme Court that is in that final four. And it should make everybody proud. And it should make people from Miami and places like that really happy because the lady is actually Latino.
Yep.
She's Cuban. I believe she immigrated from Cuba. No, she didn't immigrate from Cuba. Her parents immigrated from Cuba. And she is a fantastic, fantastic judge. But all four of these ladies are fantastic judges. So, look, this is not y'all's area to fuss about. And you're going to, but I don't care at this point because you don't understand what you're talking about. So,
Great show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Byron, for that. Golly, that was a great discussion and topic. Want to get to Austin really quick on the weather, Austin, and I'm going to shut her down. What do we got for the weather upcoming week?
Right now we're falling down to the lower 60s tonight, going up to near 90 by Friday. Thunderstorms this weekend, 50-50 shot. Trying to go for the 90s again on Monday, cool down. And Pascagoula, you could be as high temperatures of upper 60s by next week. Fall is coming across the southern U.S. and freezing temperatures expected in Boone, North Carolina next week.
Roy Jackson, by the way, told me he met you last night.
He sure did. And I was just about to type in, I enjoyed the conversation because I most certainly did. So it was really good. We sit there in the parking lot of the Gizmo and talk for about 45 minutes.
He recognized you.
Yes, he did.
Absolutely. Roy Jackson. I used to work with Roy. Great guy.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Dave Holland, just really quick, from the producer's side, real quick. Got anything to say?
I love sports.
Yeah.
I watch it. It took me away from my day. All my friends, you're sitting there watching a game, yelling and screaming.
Sure.
Touchdown here, a win. I miss that.
Yeah.
But they need to get the political out of the sports.
That is it.
Watch drag racing. You won't see it.
Michael is.
Fantastic show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget that we are now kicking off our next big fundraiser for the Bradford Food Pantry, thanks to Sheriff Gordon Smith. We are 1/5 of the way to our $5,000 goal. If we reach $5,000, and we'll have more information on this on our next show, we will be losing our locks for the love of the pantry, for lack of a better term. So make sure you stay on top of that and stay with
us.
And absolutely donate it. We'll be reactivating our PayPal accounts. We'll be reactivating the donation opportunities. We would love to have you help us support the pantry.
And just a couple of quick things. Tornado football this Friday night. The Tornadoes will travel to Live Oak to play Live Oak Swanee, the Swanee Bulldogs. And that game, pregame show 7. Kickoff at 7:30. You can catch it on WAG Eagle Country 106.3 and on Facebook Live. And also, I've got yes, exactly right. I've got a brand new friend that I'm going to be discussing. I didn't get a chance to tonight, but my favorite person in America right now is Governor Ron DeSantis I'll just leave you with
I'm
that.
sorry, brother.
I know it. That's okay.
This is great. Too.
Yeah,
This is,
I'm
this
not
is
going to
a
get
smile,
into it
dude.
tonight. I'm not.
Hopefully
We don't have
it
time.
passes.
I hope it does.
Hope it does too. I want you to go read it. Just look up, and if you didn't get a chance to watch his little deal yesterday, Governor Ron DeSantis is my guy.
Hold on.
And he wants to push it
Mitchell,
Yes.
Mitchell, you got
through the
final
free whole
thoughts?
United States.
No, we're going.
Okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
One
That's it.
last thing.
All right, yeah.
It's Saturday. I think it was Raymond. Somebody asked. They said that they needed to do the nomination now. Donald Trump is doing that Saturday.
That's correct.
Yes.
So,
Yes, Saturday.
yes. And my final thought is God bless this country. It's such a great
God
place.
bless.
All right, real quick, since I gave you that.
Ditto.
Ditto. And triple ditto. Hey, no show Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and put that out there right now. No show Saturday night. We will be back the following Tuesday. On behalf of Byron, Austin, Donald, David, Michael, Mitchell, and myself, good night. God bless you. Have a great rest of the week.
Good night, infidels.
All right.